Welcome back to the Omnibuds Cafe, where we talk all things collected edition comic books. And today we're going to talk about X-Men Schism. That's right, Wolverine and Cyclops are breaking up. If you like this content, hit that subscribe button. But now, grab your cup of coffee and let's check out this book. All right, let's take a look at X-Men Schism. This is a thin book, I think only 5 or 6 issues, but this is an oversized hardcover with really cool art. So let's dig into this and find out who wrote this and what this thing's all about. So this is written entirely by Jason Aaron. This is the precursor to his Wolverine and the X-Men run. We get some really awesome art in here by Carlos Pacheco, Frank Cho, Daniel Acuña, Alan Davis, and Adam Kubert. But let's check this out and see what this is about. So this story takes place a few months after the events of X-Men Second Coming. And the X-Men are still living on the island of Utopia. Many of the senior X-Men are still upset with Scott Summers for his decision to start the X-Force as this kind of murderous revenge squad and allow them to just do whatever they want for the sake of mutantum, really. Because they did some pretty gnarly things, particularly Wolverine. Wolverine's just very exhausted from the last few years and kind of being used by Scott Summers. And remember, the X-Men have been up against a wall for the last couple of years, ever since of House of M, going through the events of Messiah Complex, trying to save Hope and Cable in the future, and then the recent losses of teammates in Second Coming. So we start off with Scott Summers, who is scheduled to speak at this International Arms Conference in representing the X-Men. Although disaster is going to strike quickly as a recently escaped Quentin Quire, that's right, Grant Morrison's Quentin Quire, takes over the minds of leaders from across the world and embarrasses them publicly. As a result, many nations around the country restart their Sentinel program or start purchasing some from this unknown source. So globally, we've got this Sentinel problem again. Classic X-Men, robotic villain. But, you know, what's sparking all this? So we meet this new character, 12-year-old Cade Kilgore. Cade's super smart, and he's an evil little shit. We see him murder his own father and take over his company, which is an arms company. And now we know kind of where all of this trepidation and fear of the mutants are coming from. And we know who our villain is. So back in Utopia, the X-Men are monitoring other countries around the world who are relaunching their Sentinel program or their old retired Sentinels. And mutants are still scarce around the world, right? There's only a couple hundred of them left after Wanda did her thing. And even though there's so few of them, human beings are largely still scared of them. So we learned that this Cade Kilgore kid has other like-minded, creepy little children who are both crazy and terribly rich and want to take over the world. And they're part of this all-new Hellfire Club. So Cyclops has, at this point, scattered his teams around the nation or around the globe, really, to take care of Sentinels who are running amok and threatening to kill people. But back home, the mayor of San Francisco is opening this museum of mutant history in an attempt to calm the fears of mutants in San Francisco. And if you remember, the mayor of San Francisco was very welcoming to the X-Men. So Cade Kilgore and his group of psycho children have decided to infiltrate and attack the X-Men at this event. And surprisingly, they're pretty successful. I mean, Scott sends not his regular team, but really a powerhouse team. You get Magneto, Namor, Bobby Drake, Emma, and Colossus. Like a pretty tough team to take down. Like if you wanted to show your power, you send them. But these kids are, again, surprisingly well prepared for this team of very powerful X-Men. And the X-Men are laid out, and there's this one, I think her name's Idie, and she's a new mutant, a young mutant who's living on Utopia but goes to this event. And she's kind of radioing into Scott and Wolverine saying, hey, like, what do I do? I'm in the corner here. And Scott's on his way out there. And Cyclops, talking to her telepathically through Emma, is encouraging her to act and try to save the day, while Wolverine is saying, like, no, get out of there. You're too young. You're not a soldier. So this young mutant, Idie, decides to act, but inadvertently kills a couple hundred human beings who are left in the museum, leaving her a murderer at a pretty young age. And this infuriates Wolverine. He's upset at Cyclops for his ever-growing kind of pull into extremism or militarism. You know, Cyclops has been changing a lot over the years, and we see that, you know, from House of M through where we are now, and then Avengers versus X-Men, and then the Bendis run. Cyclops goes through quite a bit of changes. So in the aftermath of this museum event, Cade Kilgore's plans start to develop, and this Sentinel starts kind of growing out of the debris. And this Sentinel's on his way to Utopia to attack the rest of the mutants. And like we learned earlier, many of the X-Men teams are scattered across the globe dealing with Sentinels. So Utopia's got just a very small number of mutants, and many of them are young and who have not gone through any kind of training. Wolverine's demanding that the children evacuate so him and Cyclops can take care of the Sentinel threat, but Cyclops is asking them to stay and fight. Wolverine and Cyclops not seeing eye to eye on this at all. And just, you know, it's been a tumultuous few years. They go at it. Wolverine's seen enough war and death in his life to know that children shouldn't be involved. And Cyclops has gone through hell, and he's just trying to do his best to save the mutant population from extinction, really. So this X-team, these mutants eventually defeat this Sentinel, but the schism between Cyclops and Wolverine is just too deep. Wolverine decides to leave, and he's taking some mutants with him. He decides he's going to reopen the Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters, and in the last issue of this book, and we see him and Cyclops kind of vying for loyalty from the other mutants, like who's going to go with who, who's going to stay on Utopia with Scott, and who's going to go to New York with Wolverine. And this will lead directly into Jason Aaron's Wolverine and the X-Men team. Pretty cool story, really cool art, really just more important to kind of understand the context of this era. All right, so final thoughts on X-Men Schism. I've read this multiple times. Is this the greatest X-Men story in the world? No, but we've got a lot of those. But this serves a really good purpose, and the purpose is to kind of close out that Messiah era of the X-Men, right? And the Utopia story. So Cyclops and Hope and Storm and some X-Men are going to stay on Utopia, but because of what happens in this book, Wolverine's going to go back to Westchester and reopen the school. Only he's not calling it Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters. It's the Jean Grey School for Gifted Youngsters. And then that area of storytelling will soon lead us in to Avengers versus X-Men. So again, it's not the greatest X-Men story in the world. It's pretty cool. I wasn't a huge fan of Jason Aaron's take on the X-Men, but I love his other work. So it just wasn't my favorite stuff. But again, it serves that really important purpose and gives you context as you go on into Avengers versus X-Men. So leave a comment. Let me know what you guys thought about X-Men Schism. Did you cry when Wolverine and Cyclops broke up? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more of our content, and give us a like. Thanks, Omnibuds.
If you're looking for great deals on collected edition comics or manga, we recommend shopping at panelboundcomics.com. They offer free shipping on orders over $30, plus bundled discounts to help you save even more. And if you're shopping from Europe or the UK, comicsbugle.com offers free EU shipping and a rewards program for regular buyers. Don't forget to use our discount codes at checkout.